pickup trucks are full of people saying that this is what I need, and they don't buy that.
Welcome back to Car-Pinionated, our weekly show on cars, the car industry, and driving in general. I'm Doug Stewart, digital executive producer. And this is my brother Dave, who you've met before in the past. And I call him our resident expert on electric vehicles and pickup trucks specifically, because he has an F-150 Lightning. So welcome back, Dave.
Thank you,
How's
Doug.
how's the F-150 Lightning going?
It just been recalled, but everything is fine. Um, they There was a recall for the 22s and 23s to replace the light bar in the back on the tailgate,
Yeah.
and they sent out a new recall and said we did it wrong last time, and we're going to do it. We're going to do it right this time, but we don't have any parts.
Yeah. Yeah.
So anyway, but we'll find out. It just means another visit to the dealer.
Okay. All right. Fortunately, that's not it's going to burn up and we'll all die sort of situation.
Yeah, I guess I don't know. I guess there's water intrusion in the thing, and out here where we haven't had rain in like 2 months, or so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah. 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 So what I wanted to talk to you about was I get the sense that the market and the impetus for manufacturers to produce full-size electric pickup trucks is gone. And so my evidence to for my thesis is that Cybertruck sales are, nowhere near what they were predicted to be. Dodge has decided that I'm sorry, Ram has decided, I don't think I'll ever stop calling it Dodge. Stellantis has decided that they're not going to bring to market their full-size EV pickup truck.
Mm.
Um, Rivian sales are meh in the pickup. Not that that's a little bit smaller than full size. Silverado and Sierra sales meh. Sounds like Ford is not going to produce a second generation of the Lightning. The Hummer EV pickup truck is they're still selling it, but it's unclear as to how many Hummers are the SUV versus the truck.
I think your basic idea is correct, that especially Ford and GM have decided that they don't need to make an electric pickup truck, and uh, they're de-emphasizing it to a certain extent. Um, and then you get into each individual company having individual company issues, I think.
Mhm.
Um, like Rivian has right now a production capacity problem. They really wanted to have a plant online in Georgia that's not really anywhere near built yet. So they're trying to do everything out of one factory. And right now, their oldest thing is the R1T, and that's not their best seller. Their best seller is the SUV version of that.
Mhm.
So they can sort of be like, well, we're just going to produce some, but we don't really have to go all out to use all our manufacturing facility to make our least popular model. We can set aside some room to make they have a new model coming out, the R1S, which is also going to be an SUV. No pickup truck version of there. And they really want to put assets where they need to, rather than, continue the truck is kind of a vanity project for them, well, more than an actual necessity. Um, Ford is in a weird spot because the body is so similar to, basically the body for the Lightning is the same as the body for all of the F-Series Super Crew things. So you have to look at what do they make on a Lightning versus what could they make on a Super Crew of any kind, all the way up to the 550, I think, or something like that.
Five or six, yeah.
Every giant, so if they make a ton of money on those things, and also they're having a problem with aluminum supply. All these bodies are made of aluminum sheet metal, and their sheet metal supplier burned to the ground, and it's going to be very difficult under current conditions to find more
Mhm.
aluminum sheet metal. So they really have to sort out which one is going to make them the most money and
Right.
uh and prioritize that. Now Ford has said they have reorganized their trim levels. So they have an all new trim level for 2026. They say that everything is going to be fine, but that could end tomorrow. GM is kind of they still appear to be promoting the Silverado, and people like the Silverado for towing, but they're still not selling tons and tons and tons.
Mm,
And everybody's sales figures are a little bit skewed by the tax credit ending. So everybody sold a lot up till September 30th, and then kind of sales fell off the cliff, and who knows what they still have in supply and stuff like that.
well, I would say to that that isn't the wasn't the tax credit, it didn't apply to vehicles over a certain MSRP,
Right,
or my
right. So, and a
okay.
lot of the trucks were really, they either had to be decontented to fall below that level,
Mm,
or like I don't think any of the Rivians qualified
mm,
unless you did some kind of weird leasing loophole or
right,
something like
right.
that.
Yeah.
I don't, and the definitely the higher trim levels of all the trucks were too expensive to get any kind of tax credit.
I I did a little research, and so the sales figures for the first 3 quarters of the year, so through September 30th, the F-150 Lightning is 23,000. The Cybertruck 16,000. The Rivian just shy of 6,000. The Silverado 9,379. The Sierra EV 6,147, and then the Hummer EV, which combines the way it's reported is it combines both the truck and the SUV as 13,000. And those are all numbers from Cox Automotive, Kelly Blue Book. Um, that would be all that I think that's all of the ones that they're selling. Um, so you have Ford, which is obviously the top end leader there by a healthy amount. Um, and to compare uh, the Ford F-150, which this number probably might include the Lightning as well. Ford sold 620,000 F-150s.
Uh,
So, I'm a journalist so I don't do math very well, but that seems like significant more than uh, you know, and even Chevy Silverado, the first 3 quarters of the year, 431,000, let's say it's
uh,
just shy of that.
yeah.
GM Sierra, 257, 258,000. And then you get into the Tundra, if you're talking about full size, 110,000, Ram 1,500, 262,000, and the Nissan Titan, the with a grand total of 1,484 vehicles.
I think that's, didn't they discontinue that? I thought
Yeah,
that,
I think those are just the leftovers that are sitting
yeah.
on the lot in the back of the lot.
Yeah.
Um,
I thought that the GM and Silverado are a little bit unique in that they have a very, very large battery and therefore they can tow something a significant distance.
mhm,
So like they can go like 100 or like a like instead like basically my truck can maybe go 100 150 miles between charges, and the GM versions and the Silverado
mm,
can be spec'd out to tow like twice that. There's a little bit of weirdness because people say that's what I need. That's what
mm,
I need that. Uh, and therefore you would think that that's what therefore people are buying. Well, I think that the pickup trucks are full of people saying that this is what I need, and they don't buy that.
mhm. Yeah. Yeah, I think that the need part of it, I've always felt, and I have no evidence to back this up, that this idea of what you need the truck for is very different from what you'll actually use it for,
Right.
right? It's like, well, I needed to tow the boat, or I needed to
Yeah.
tow the trailer on vacation, and that's only your 2 week window of the year, and the rest of the time, you know, you're not even, I don't think people are even going to the dump anymore. I just think that we always talk about the vehicle purchase being a very emotional decision, and I think that that's what is wrapped up in there. We're not buying the truck. We're not buying the. We're, people don't really think about the vehicle that they actually need. Do you think that the manufacturers just totally blew this, or do you think the market wasn't there? Do you think the market shifted? I don't want to assess blame necessarily, but like it seems like you had this great emphasis to build these full-size pickup trucks, and then nothing was there at the end of the day.
I think that if you look at what Ford did, Ford always had in the back of their pocket some ability to say, we could just cancel this whole thing.
Mm,
The plant that they set up was a plant that's sort of a backwater of their production. You know, it's the old Rouge plant, but it's like a little itty bitty part of the old Rouge plant. And
yeah.
the using the body from basically all their other F-Series pickup trucks. So that they didn't make a new body, they didn't make new frame rails. They so they can pretty much turn the Lightning program off and just repurpose everything except for, a raft of employees, maybe, I don't know, 5,000 or something like that, who they could convince to do something else,
Hmm.
work on trucks somewhere else. And they have, and like a battery production facility, which has always been like they have a battery partner with in South Korea, so it's always been like a low level, not a very large battery production facility.
True, true, and that's always been their MO is they have never like done clean sheet design for any of their, like, you go back, the first hybrids that they had were always just adaptations of a vehicle, the Ford Escape hybrid, the C-Max, all the electric Focus, right? I believe there was also an electric Fusion, right?
Yeah.
They've always been, adaptations of a current vehicle where GM has kind of like, let's start a, let's just build a whole new thing.
Yeah,
You
so
know,
GM has
and
more of a commitment to it.
right, right, right. But I've always thought that uh I thought Ford's strategy was better for it. And now what Ford wants to do is they want to redistribute, they want to add people to build the regular F-150
Uh-huh.
and strategize how they can get another 50,000 F-150s built every year between, was it Kansas City and Louisville? My feeling is that they might have been better served had they had they decided to do um, an EV version of the Ranger.
Uh-huh.
I think that would have been a far more interesting thing. I think it would have hit, a, it didn't need to be this enormous heavy thing, and you can say I could say the same thing for GM if they had built an EV version of the Canyon in Colorado. They might have been somewhere in a better position. Take a wild guess as to how many Mavericks Ford sold in the first 3 quarters.
Oh, it's like a huge number. It's like
Yeah.
200,000 or something like that.
Well, it's 120,000, almost
Oh, okay.
121,000, but
Okay.
a significant number,
Yeah.
right? Because if you look at the competition, and I use this term loosely, uh, in that specific end of the market, um, the Ridgeline, which I'm only saying is competition because it's also unibody construction, is 37,000, and the Santa Cruz is 20,000.
Mhm.
Santa Cruz is kind of dying on the vine there, I think. But um, and when you look at the mid-size market, I mean, the mid-size pickup market is nowhere near what the full-size market is. But that's dominated, just completely dominated by the Tacoma, which I think
Mhm.
is like 42% of the market. But still, it's, 400,000 total for all the vehicles.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So I don't know. Where when you look at it, the pie chart of like where's the money in the pickup market, it is at the top end. It is on the um, top end, and I think also, it remains to be seen uh, what's going to happen with the slate, if that's going to come to market. Um, and uh, and I think I also think you have the Scout, uh, but they're kind of positioned where at this point they can kind of read those trade winds and focus more on putting stuff into the SUV, which I think is probably going to be their bread and butter.
What they say is that they have built the factory with the idea that they can just read the tea leaves whenever the factory is ready and do a mix of the hybrid versions, the E-Rev is what they're calling it, and the or just a pure EV or and SUV and truck, and decide at the moment, which one is the best one that we can build, the one that we can
Mhm.
make the most money on.
Mhm.
Maybe
Yeah.
that's true. Maybe, I mean, that sounds like something that an investor would want to hear. State of South Carolina,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Interesting. All right, we're going to take a break and then we're going to come back and talk about a new Jeep. Okay, we're back. We're recording this on the 19th, and tomorrow there's a whole bunch of new vehicles being introduced at the LA Auto Show. One of those vehicles that was shown is a new Jeep called the Recon. Now, if you were to take a Wrangler and combine it with the new Jeep Cherokee, I think this is what you'd get, right? It's got removable doors, it's got a much more rugged look, and it's an EV, and it's built on the STLA platform. Is that what it is? It's their large platform that the current Wagoneer S is built on, as well as the Chargers. So there, oh, Stellantis. Um, so this vehicle, this all new electric EV SUV, will start at $65,000. Um, it's inspired by the brand's iconic off-road Wrangler SUV, and it's part of their turnaround plan, which includes revealing four new or redesigned products in recent weeks. Um, and It's roughly $14,000 over the entry level Wrangler plug-in hybrid, which is also facing a massive recall, by the way. Um, it seems that in the plug-in hybrid, uh, they left sand in the engine, and that's never ever a good thing. Um, the range is depending on the um, vehicle is like like 220, and then they're going to come up with a version that is like around 250 miles per charge. What are you thinking about the Recon?
I was looking at the range number, and I think that they have done something weird with the gearing, which
Uh-huh.
I'll be interested to look that up. Uh, if you look at the reviews of the Wagoneer, the
Hmm.
electric Wagoneer, um, it said that like the throttle was very strangely sensitive, uh, and they can't really have that if they want to do like a four-wheel drive thing. Because you can't, the
Mm.
electric motor already has a lot of torque, and you just spin the tires if you're on a loose surface. And they might have done something, the gearing thing, to fix that, and that's what I think impacts the range. It makes the range, the
Mm.
Wagoneer range is very close to 300. It's like 293 or something like that.
294.
And yeah, and the it just seems like the range is a really low number when everybody who talks about electric vehicles says that 300 is the target to hit. So there must be a reason why they missed it
Yeah.
by like a lot.
And it's just one of those things that it all falls under like, well, I need more than I want to have that overage. I want to be
Yeah.
covered for whatever happens. Right.
Well, like they should have a lot of data from the hybrid Wrangler. I mean,
True.
it's a connected vehicle, and they can just say this is how we see people using it.
Hmm.
Um, and the other thing is that, in my opinion, it would be really nice to be off-road in something that's quiet,
Hmm.
that you don't hear the engine all the time. I mean, you can go out, you can go to the top of the beginning of the trail, and you can roll down all the windows or take the doors off in this vehicle. It's one of it does the Jeep thing where you can take the doors off and reconfigure it and stuff like that. And it will be totally quiet, and you don't have exhaust fumes or anything like that. So
Yeah. Yeah.
it
Less of an
it
impact on
sounds,
the environment.
like, yeah. So maybe Stellantis has a genius plan that they're using information that they've gathered, and they know exactly what their customer wants.
Well, we can hope so. I, I think Glenn and I talked about this a couple weeks ago that like I think I think our things seem to be starting to head in the right direction for Stellantis. And I say that because I think that, and this is something that has obviously been in the works for a while, but I think that you start to see Jeep putting their efforts in the right place. I think I think that this vehicle, the Recon, is says a lot of good things. It says good things in style. It says good things in thought process of what people want in the market. And it draws on all those positive things that Jeep is, right? It's not a round jelly bean SUV like the Cherokee or the Compass.
Mhm.
Um, and when you look at the styling of the new Cherokee, um, it's really kind of, I think it's much closer to the target than say the Wagoneer was. You know, the Grand, well, it's now the Grand Wagoneer. Um, so I think they're getting there, and I look at like this $13 billion that Stellantis is investing in new product, and it's five new vehicles and one new engine. And I think it's great that they want to build a new Dakota, a new midsize pickup truck. And I've said this a couple times, and it's not an original thought to me, but if they also went into that trying to go to that Maverick market,
Mhm.
I think that that would be a really good thing. Um, so they're going to build this Recon in Mexico alongside the Wagoneer S and the Compass and the new Cherokee. And they should be able to kind of adjust the product mix there too. Um, I like the interior a lot. It looks really great. It's very much in line with the what they're putting in the Wagoneer S and and the other ones. It's I think it's got a great look to it.
I would say when I my thought about the interior was if they put too much stuff on the touchscreen and you're trying to do the touchscreen while you're bouncing along, yes.
Yeah.
But this is and the other thought was that this is a vehicle that they cannot do what they did with the electric versions of the Charger, where, it was released and they were like, we're not going to do a big V8 Hellcat thing anymore.
Yeah.
And we're going to do an electric vehicle and it's going to be really great. And then it was a real disappointment and nobody bought it. And then it was like, oh, we decided to do a Hellcat kind of V8 thing.
Oh, look at all these engines.
Yes.
Why don't we put them in something? All right, we're gonna wrap this up. Um, well, thank you so much for coming on. Remember that you can uh, see older episodes of Car-Pinionated in our YouTube playlist. And with that, we will bid you a good evening.